Did y'all get that? Yeah, it's up to you. So this is a month of adventure, but the adventure is only going to happen to the degree that you recognize it and decide to make it happen. So who's ready to do it? Yeah, all of us, right? So I was researching Ernest Holmes. What a shock. I was looking at Ernest Holmes this week, and I read something that I don't remember reading before, or at least it didn't hit me the way it hit me. And it was like his seven steps to succeeding. And it was all about success. But to me, it was all about how do we live an adventurous life? How do we get to live every single day as an adventure and not as some kind of drudgery moving us along in time? Now, I don't think anybody here lives that way. I'm not suggesting you do. And I certainly don't live that way. But there are days when I am not really paying attention enough to really see the adventure and what's going on. And suddenly I'm like, ugh, this is never going to end. Anybody? So I want to look at this quote by Ernest Holmes. So if you give me the first slide. Now, it's a lot, but I'm going to read it slowly. When you want to do a big thing, get the mental pattern, make it perfect, know just what it means, enlarge your thought, keep it to yourself, pass it over to the creative power behind all things, wait and listen, and when the impression comes, follow it with assurance. You will succeed where all others have failed. And I was reading that and I was like, yes! I will succeed where I don't need to know that all others will fail, but I can succeed. I can do this. But then I had to back it up and go, if I do all of that. But it's like Margaret's song says, you get to. Not you have to. Not even you need to. It's that you get to. And that's really the thing in Margaret's song for me. I get what this universe is all about. I get that I am God. I am that creative energy. I get all of that. But do I really get what a gift, what a privilege it is to create the life I want? Or am I still stuck with an old paradigm and an old archaic teaching that told me that something outside of myself was handling all of this? Something outside of myself actually even knew what I should be doing, and if I wasn't doing it, good luck at the end. And it's just not the way it is. So that privilege, that responsibility. Someone said to me yesterday, why do you think religious science doesn't catch on? I said, oh, it's very simple. Religious science doesn't catch on because we're selling personal responsibility. That's it. I mean, if you go to other churches that teach what they think Christianity is, they're going to teach you that, just be good and God will take care of it for you. Religious science says, it's up to you. You get to create your life. You are in charge. And it's all dependent upon what you think. How you use your mind, how you use your heart, how you use your soul, what you believe. So this next slide of Ernest Holmes, he says, true imagination is not fanciful daydreaming. It is fire from heaven. So my question to you this morning in this month of adventure, what are you imagining for yourself? Rick just shared what it was like 2 years ago for him. And I can tell you that 2 years ago for me, I remember standing in the sanctuary in Westlake Village, and my the head of tech came to me and said, what are we going to do next week when we have to shut down? And I was like, what are you talking about? He said, well, I think this thing is going to shut us down. I was like, oh, trust me, it's nothing. Somewhere in the middle of the week, I got the phone call that we were shutting down. And I called him and I went, how did you know that? He goes, well, I've been reading the news. And I said, it just never occurred to me that we would shut down for this. And I said, well, we're not going to shut down. We'll keep going. We'll just broadcast. And we didn't. We never shut down. We just kept going, broadcasting every single Sunday. We just didn't. We refused. But boy, did it affect us. It affected us on the bottom line financially, although we were in the black every single the last 2 years, in the black. But it affected us with people finding another way to find their spirituality. Now, we were ahead of the game because we'd already taken our sanctuary and turned it into a television studio with cameras everywhere. So we were ahead of the game, understanding that some people are going to prefer now, coming out of this pandemic, to stay home. I mean, I've gotten emails from people or phone calls where they've said to me, no, we love watching now, but we're in our pajamas. And we like make brunch and you're on the screen. I'm like, yeah, I'm sure you're really paying attention to that while you're cooking those omelets. It's like I'm suddenly dinner theater. Or breakfast theater, yes. There you go. So all of us have our own version of this. But it's time to put our imaginations back to work. It's time for us to say, I'm ready to start again. I'm ready to get out there and do something amazing. I'm ready to pick up, and not even pick up, not get back what I had, but pick up where I may have left off, because we're ready. That's why I picked adventure for this month, so that we could really get into ourselves and say, I'm ready. I am so ready. Just say it to yourself, I'm ready. I'm ready. And I don't even care what it's for. It's up to you to decide. So let's say it one more time. I'm ready. So what are you ready for, Eric? What are you ready for? More success. Yes. You're like, I'll have what he's having. So success. So that's what Ernest Holmes is talking about here. So Margaret writes, nobody gets to dance for you. I don't know if you heard her lyrics, but nobody gets to dance for you. It wasn't but you. Nobody gets to dance for you. That's a big one. Nobody gets to do, Marcia, what you can do. Nobody. Nobody gets to do what is yours to do for them. There are a lot of copycats in the world, but that is an instant recipe for failure. Copycatting, doing what somebody else does. Nobody gets to... Y'all know that Seinfeld episode where Elaine dances? And she's like... and everybody just stops and look at her. And I know the joke was that she couldn't dance. But for me, I always went, you go, girl. You show them what dancing really looks like on someone with some problems. But that's what I really think this needs to be about. Are you willing to channel your inner Elaine? Are you willing to go out there and adventure into what's right for you? Because nobody gets to dance for you. She also says nobody makes your dreams come true, but you get to. You get to make your dreams come true. So the title of my talk today is this. True imagination. Thank you. Nope, back, Laurie. Title of my talk. No, I put it in here and at the end. So you did it, you moved it all the way to the end. Fast forward to the end. Sorry, miscommunication. I meant that it goes there and then you have to show me again at the end. Okay, go ahead. Keep going. There you go. There is my talk title. What are you up to?
I like it.
What are you up to? What is your mind up to? Because you know what? It's always up to something. The question is, are you paying attention? Every time you take a trip down memory lane of all the things that you wish you had done, your mind is up to something. It's up to telling you something. And it's up to creating something for you. So this is actually a really important question. What are you up to? And I put, up really to me means unlimited potential. So what are you up to? What is your mind, here's a question, what has your mind been up to all week? What have you been thinking about all week? Because that's what you are up to. You may say you're up to this, but what's your mind doing? Because that's really what you're up to. This is just what you're acting out. So, what are you up to? So, Ernest Holmes, in that quote, gave us 7 ways, and we go back to number 1, right there, number 1. There it comes. Nope. Go one more. There you go. It's okay. This is going to be a little bit... It's like we're traveling down a road fast. So the first thing he says is get the mental pattern. So I want to ask you to pick something. That's number 1, the power of decision. Decide. What is it you want? And it can be something like, I want to be happier in my life. Anybody want to be happier in their life? Anybody want more joy in their life? How many people want more humor in their life? More things to laugh at? Not people, but things to enjoy, right? How many people want more... Oh, I almost said it. Why not? How many people want more sex in their life? Wow. I got to know the room. How many people want more love in their life? Got you going, though, didn't it? You're like, why didn't I raise my hand? Oh, my God. So get the mental pattern. What is the mental pattern of joy? What is the mental pattern of success? What is the mental pattern of romance? I mean, guys, come on, it's Valentine's Day tomorrow. What is the mental pattern of love? The mental pattern, all that means is that you have taken the initiative to think about what it is you want only. Only. You don't get to entertain. If you are making a pattern, if you have a pattern, how many knitters or pattern dressmakers or, again, know the room. Okay. Good for you. You'll get this then. So if you have a pattern for something, do you think it will succeed if you bring other things into the pattern that have nothing to do with what you're wanting to make? No. There is a pattern for everything. So if I want success, I don't have time to think about failure or to think about, oh, remember when I did this before? Anything that would come in. So the first thing he says is get the mental pattern. So I want you to do that in your head right now, whatever it is you decided. Whatever that thing is, what does it look like to you? What is that? What would it feel like? That's the mental pattern. Okay? Then number 2, make it perfect. You'd be surprised how many people know what they want, they get the mental pattern of it, and then they start compromising with themselves. Well, maybe it could look like this instead. Well, I could probably make this happen. That seems big. No, make it perfect. Forget that it's you creating it. Just move into the desire of it. What is it? Get that mental pattern, make it absolutely perfect in your mind, exactly what you desire, exactly what you know you want. See it exactly perfect. And then number 3, and this is a big one for me, know just what it means to you. Start to fill that pattern with a feeling. What does it mean? What would it mean to have more joy in my life? What would it mean to have more love in my life? What would it mean to have more downtime in my life? What would it mean to have vibrant health? What'd you say? To have more sex. You're still on that. Okay. Just get it perfect in your head. But what would it mean? How would it feel to whatever it is you are looking at right now? You know, for me, I want to know more of my spiritual truth at all times. I want to know what it means to live as this presence all the time. Friday night, how many people were here Friday night for the soul immersion? Friday night soul immersion. Where's David Flint? David, thank you so much for your... On Friday night, the room was very, very shadowed and beautiful lighting by William, and David was right here with all of his sound bowls, and we had a lavender mister going on in the room, and I was over here with my acoustic guitar, and Reverend Dale was over there on pillows like Queen Elizabeth, Queen Cleopatra, and she treated for us and spoke her truth. And it was so, I just was like almost in tears the whole night. It was so immersive. It's called soul immersion. And there were like 45, 50 people all over the room, because all the chairs were removed, on their mats, just laying there. It was, you got to make sure you catch, we're second Friday of every month, we're doing this. That's what I want more of. I want more of that knowing. So, and I know what that looks like. I felt it on Friday night. So I know the vision. I know what it feels like. So what does it mean to me? And here's why. Whatever it is you decide to create for yourself, whatever adventure you choose to go on to, how much do you want it? How much? What are you willing to know? Not give up. What are you willing to know to make sure that whatever that adventure is, it materializes? So this is a big one. Know what it means to you. Don't just pick these haphazard things that seems like they might be fun, because you won't have the feeling, the emotion, you won't have the drive to bring it forward. So what's really, really important? What adventure is really calling your name? So that's number 3. Number 4, enlarge your thought. So when Ernest Holmes says to enlarge your thought, he's asking you to see yourself much bigger than you see yourself. You know, for so long, we were the teaching where people came into our churches and were able to get great parking spaces. Remember that? I remember people would come to class, like the 5th week of class. Oh my God, I got to the center, I went, there's a parking space right in front of the building, and there it was. I was like, what if it was like, there's $1 million right in front of the building, and there it was. Who buys that? No one's believing that because the thought's not there yet. So enlarge your thought. You are so much more than the things you want. You are that energy that brings it forward. So everything's possible. Everything is possible. If everything's possible, if you are God and I am God and God is this creative essence and it's all possible, why would I just choose this little thing here that I know I can get? I know I can do this. Why not go out on a limb and say, you know what? Fastrada. That's a role she's auditioning for. You know what? This trip. You know what? This amount of love in my life. Whatever it is, Ernest Holmes says, to enlarge your thought. And the next thing he says is keep it to yourself. Now, why do you think he says that? And it's not just because there are people that will shoot you down as soon as you say it. Because there are. Have any of you ever met those people? Right. As soon as you say, this is what I'm going to do, and they're like, oh, honey, I don't know. Right? I'm going to go to Broadway. Oh, sure. I remember, not to name drop, but I remember when Tom Cruise said to me he was going to be a movie star, and I was like, yeah, Tom, you're like 5'8". It's not happening. Obviously, I was wrong. He was right. But he knew. He absolutely knew. He never, ever changed his mind. Ever. They offered him a TV series, and he said, no, I want to do film. Most actors would be like, yeah, I'll take that TV series. He was like, no, I'm not weakening my position. I'm in movies. That's the mind you have to have. So keep it to yourself. It's not about keeping it secret. And here's the thing about keep it to yourself. When Ernest Holmes wrote this, I remember in a class someone said to me, but isn't that like you're keeping it to yourself because you're afraid it's not going to happen? I was like, well, it is if that's what you're doing. But that's not why you keep it to yourself. You keep it to yourself because this only happens in your mind. Period. End of sentence. Now, when you have someone that supports you, that is there behind you, like Margaret can tell me anything. And I'm going to say, yeah, because I know what she has in her to give. Eric, same thing with his talents. So if you have someone who is there and they're your cheerleader, tell away, share away. But don't go out and share to the world. My brother, my older brother, he was this type of person that always would tell you what he was going to do, And he never did any of it, ever. And I remember my Grandma Mellon, one day said to him, we were sitting at the kitchen table, and we were young, we were like 10 and 12, and he's like, Mom, I'm going to blah, 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 and she went, don't tell me another thing until you do it. And I remember thinking, wow, that's really, and I've lived by that. I'm like, wow, that's really a great idea. Don't tell me, show me. What musical is that from? Anybody? Really? My Fair Lady. Don't talk of love lasting through time. Don't talk at all. Show me. Anybody? Now you remember? Yes.
Good job, Eliza.
I know, right? Never do I ever want to hear another word. Yes. But that's it, is it? Don't talk about it. Do it. Just do it. And you know why else we tell everybody about it? Because we know we're never going to do it. So we'd like to live the effect of what they feel when they hear us saying we're going to do it. And so we spend the rest of our lives not doing it. But we already experienced what it was like to have done it with the people that are like, oh, that's so great. Oh, God, it's awesome. Done. Moving on. So there's a number of reasons why you keep it to yourself. And the next one, 6, and this is a biggie. Surrender it to the creative process. We're teaching a class right now called Create the Life You Want. How many people are in that class? Yes, good. Create the life you want, the creative process in action. And I have to tell you, Monday night's class, all technical issues aside, Monday's night's class was one of the most exciting first nights of class I've ever had. Reverend Dale and I, we had the most amazing time because we both did it as well. And what you all created that were in that class on Monday night, and anyone's able to join us, just go back. She'll give you the link. You can watch it, do the work we did in that class. It is life-affirming. But it's about this, surrendering to the creative process. Surrendering to the creative process does not mean that you don't have to do anything. Oh, the creative process is doing what it's doing. No, you have to direct it. You have to give it up, allow it to lead you, and then do what's yours to do. But you're surrendering it to something that's doing it through you and as you. How many of you have ever in your life felt like it's exhausting to create what you have to create for your life? Where you're just like, oh my God, I feel like I'm doing everything. Yeah. So don't. It's like Bob Newhart, stop it. Just don't. Just allow the creative process to take you along. It's still going to direct you. It's still going to tell you, do this, do this, do this, and then you find exactly what is necessary. You attract everybody necessary for whatever it is you're doing. If you are looking for more love in your life, that's the attractive energy that brings the love into your life. And you can be specific. Let's be clear about this, right, Preciosa? You can be specific. If you require, here's the thing. If you are a lesbian, do not ask for a man. Be specific with what you want. Tell the universe, this is what I require. I require a man who is on the same spiritual path as me, who is spiritual, who wants to really understand this thing called life. I require a partner to walk with me in this journey. It's important to me, so I have one. I actually even asked for a blonde-haired, blue-eyed one. And that's how it was when we started. That's okay, because I had thick black hair, so we're good. All I'm saying is be specific. You get to be specific with what you want. When he said in the last slide, enlarge your thoughts, yeah, be specific. If you were going to buy a house and you wanted a pool, would you leave the pool out of it, telling your real estate agent? No, you would tell your real estate agent, which is really just a metaphor for God. How many real estate agents are here? You're all God, right? You would say, I want a pool, I require, like for instance, we require a house with a large backyard that is private, with a big pool for Kevin to clean, and space for our dogs, and we know what we want. And that's what we say we want. And that's what the universe is asking you for. Specificity. Being clear, this is what I want. And the last one is this. Follow it with assurance. Kind of means do the work. Do the work, live the results. So if you start back at the top of this and you think to yourself, what is it that I want? What is it that is necessary for me to live my life? What will make me know? Nothing makes me happy. What will unleash the happiness that is inside me, ready to be let go? What will tap into the creativity that I've barely even scratched? What is it that I need to know? And they're the things we need to fill our minds with. I only surround myself with people who are positive, creative, and that support me, and that I can support. I do not have time for people who are not willing to put the energy in, the mind in, the heart in, to create their lives. In my personal life, I'm talking about, because of course I want to be available to anyone to help them become those people. But in your personal life, if you have naysayers in your life, if you have people in your life that you consider obstacles, highest and furthest. Treat for their highest, know the truth of who they are, and move on. Because your mind must stay absolutely receptive to what it is you want to accomplish, what you want to live, how you want to live. This is an adventure. Life is an adventure. None of us ever need get stuck in the remnants of an adventure that we're done living. Life is not about living the remnants. Life is about opening the door and jumping back into it. As Walt Disney says, if you can dream it, you can do it. Is that the Rocky Horror Picture Show? Don't do it. Oh, I remember that's. Yeah. I thought you were telling me you were about to do Rocky Horror Picture Show. So I'll ask you again, what's in your mind? I think we are. My talk title should still be at the end, right? Okay. This is a quote that I, look at this. We need to make our dreams bigger, and then our dreamer bigger still. So it's not just about your dreams. It's about the person doing the dreaming. That's where the work needs to be done. It's not about finding bigger things to do. It's about finding the bigger you that can then have a perfect mental picture of what it is you require. You are the dreamer, not the dream. You are the believer, not the belief. You are the thinker, not the thought. You are God in action. So it's time for all of us to really take this idea of adventure and take it up a bit. Really ask ourselves, what more could I be living? What more is inside of me that wants to be let out? So what are you up to? For the last 15, 20 minutes, you were up to entertaining what I'm saying. What are you going to be up to when you leave here today? What are you going to be up to when you wake up tomorrow morning? Are you going to allow any of those yeah buts to come back in? Because trust me, as I found out last Monday night in this room, well, I was online, but in this class, if I decided, and I made them all of us, write a contract and sign it, that I will not participate in anything that goes against what I say I want. So what are you up to? Now's the time to decide what it is, and then to make sure that you stay as clean as possible in your mind. Because ultimately, at the end, you get to. It's a privilege. Namaste.